the speed at which all this stuff is happening. And sometimes, sometimes papers are small improvements and incremental improvements and are not changing any, much. But sometimes, there's big things coming around. In graphics, we've got these new Splatic Gaussians, we've got neural Radiance Fields. These things didn't exist a couple of years ago. And now we have to learn what they are as well, And so it is overwhelming. But I think also it can be exciting, right? If you're willing to delve in and read some of these things, there's loads of resources to explain all of these topics. You don't have to necessarily read the maths in the original paper if you don't want to.
I think it's like when there's a shift in technology, it opens up a lot of opportunities for anyone who's willing to jump in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's like, when Web 2 came along, right, it was the same kind of idea. I think there is a lot of opportunity. And actually, I know plenty of people who are working in AI who don't have, a PhD in AI. They just got sufficient amount of base level knowledge that they could get in on the ground floor and work their way up. And then, you learn these things as you go as well. Most of what I've learned about artificial intelligence, I've learned by doing it, in my research, rather than just reading tutorials and things like that. So I think you get yourself that base level of knowledge, and then pretty quickly you're ready to go, and you can start training things, and you will learn quickly if you just, keep training these models.
Do you think there's going to be a shift towards like domain-specific AIs, where it's like an AI for cybersecurity, an AI for networking, an AI for XYZ technology? I
think that, in a way, I hope there will be, actually, because I think that the things like ChatGPT and these large language models, they're very interesting and they're very fun. But actually, I find them quite hard to apply to my own research, because my own research is kind of specific, right? I'm often looking at a medical image and trying to work out what shape that thing is. And ChatGPT doesn't know, because it's never looked at that kind of thing before. And so actually, it's much easier for me simply to just train my own thing to do it, right? And ignore the large language model. I think that foundational models or big models trained in specific areas, such as segment anything, they're more tailored to a specific task. They're slightly less catch-all, and that means you might have a chance of being able to control them in a way that's helpful to you. So I hope it goes that way. At the moment, I have fun playing with these tools, but for the majority of the time, I don't use them because I've got my own models that I've trained up.
Mike, what's segment anything?
Segment anything is a really interesting, should we say, foundational or large model that's been released by Meta. It's kind of transformative in the segmentation space. Segmentation, prior to that, has always been a supervised task. That is, you basically, pretty much. So you give it a bunch of labeled regions in a load of images, and it learns to label those regions back. So you might use it, for example, for labeling, products as you're walking around a shop or something like this. Now, segment anything is a tool that just segments all the things it can see in a scene and gives them labels as to what it thinks they are. But you can also prime it with points or boxes or text to say, I want you to find all the footballs, or I want you to find all of the laptops, and it will go off and segment them for you. Now, it's not perfect because it's a very general model,